The following trader talks about a correction in Q4 2025. Could that be the correction that we are seeing right now with Bitcoin, that everyone is getting trapped in thinking that we are going into a bear market while we're actually right in front of the biggest rally of this whole bull cycle?
That's going to be harder because the next one that happens, we'll have a 35% drop and you'll all say, is it over? And you'll definitely be sure it's over. And everybody on Twitter will tell you it's over, and it won't be over. By our work, we suggest that because of the elongation of the business cycle, because rates were higher for longer, the forward-looking liquidity suggests that, again, probabilistically speaking, without any guarantees, this whole thing goes into Q1, maybe Q2 of 2026, which would align with Trump's, trying to win the midterms as well. So everything's lined up for us. I think it started. So keep the faith, keep building stuff, and let's keep driving Siri forward with all of this.
So it's been really a patience game of a sideways choppy market. But people forget also, last year was the same. Last year peaked in somewhere early in the year and then did nothing all year. Everyone got so frustrated. Everyone was flinging poo at each other online and getting angry with each other. And then before you know it, took off like a rocket ship in November and December. And I think it's somewhat similar this time around.
We're going to have a look at some charts, guys, especially Bitcoin, see how this looks, and also whether we've seen something like this in the past as well. So, guys, let's jump straight into it. So, guys, could there be any sense to what this guy is saying, and that we are actually just seeing a regular bull market correction, which eventually will result in a very big bounce? Well, I gotta say, guys, it's definitely possible. However, I do not really like the fact that these videos are right now circling around on Twitter, because that tells me that if this becomes the hype, that everyone thinks we are going to go into this bullish Q1, Q2 of 2026, is less likely to happen. But there are actually some things in the chart, guys, that I want to share with you, which looks like we have seen something like this actually already before during this bull market. But before I'm going to show you guys, I want to show some different charts as well. Just the MVRVZ score right here, but there are many charts of it. The regular Bitcoin bull market top charts, they all not really have been fired. And I think some of them are definitely discussable, right? Because some of them, they create lower highs. So we have like a high here, lower high. So if there would be a lower high here, you could argue, yeah, that could be a top as well. It doesn't necessarily have to go to the red area like it did in the past. Possible, definitely. But you cannot deny that most Bitcoin top indicators have not fired, so they do not show that Bitcoin is seeing a top. So this bull market and the price action and how Bitcoin moves in this bull market is definitely very different than previous bull market, and a elongated business cycle or a longer bull market, an extended bull market, therefore could definitely be a serious possibility, because the bull market is already so different. One of the things that we also see is we have no real hype. Retail is not back. Not everyone is talking about crypto. Everyone is basically gone in this market. Many are in the stock market. It took all the attention. Of course, gold took a lot of attention as well. But yeah, that's are all things that show that the market right now is just very different than from the previous bull market. So maybe we should not compare it too much to previous bull markets in that sense. So therefore, I definitely think that Raoul Pal can have a very good point right here, and I don't actually see why not. But I'm going to show you some other charts that show a little bit more tricky for Bitcoin. But first of all, I want to go with you to a scenario, to a basically a fractal that we are seeing right now in Bitcoin, and that is often what we are seeing on lower time frames. We are seeing on bigger time frames as well. So this could be actually a scenario that could be like this. So guys, what we are going to do, I'm going to draw here a channel. We have a rising channel. There was early bull market 2023. Wow, it's already 2023, crazy, right? And here I'm going to draw a channel that is doing like this. So we have two channels. And guys, the reason why I want to bring this up, first of all, because they look very familiar, they look very similar. This one is just smaller, this one is just bigger. But if we just look at this, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 breakdown. Here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 breakdown. Both the fifth wave just slightly comes above the previous all-time high. Here the fifth wave also a little bit bigger, but comes slightly above the previous all-time high. What is so interesting about this thing, guys, why I actually thought about this thing, is that this moment in time, right here, most people were actually thinking that we are going to get supported from this channel and that we are going to go up, right? So the moment this thing broke down, as it did right here, and we had this massive dump in Bitcoin, a lot of people were actually like, wow, very shocked that this thing was breaking down, and they actually was thinking that we've entered a bear market, right? While Bitcoin afterwards just moved a couple of weeks sideways, formed a higher low, and then just took off in a crazy rally from the lows was actually from 25k all the way up to 73k. That's a 3x what Bitcoin did. That's pretty crazy, right? So could we see something similar right now? Because the price action looks a bit similar, but it looks extended. So we have this 5 waves, last wave a little bit above the previous all-time high breakdown. Everyone, including me, guys, expected this to hold this level. Breaking down definitely is very scary sign because it's losing momentum, and we still need to take that signal very seriously. Breaking down from this level, breaking down below roughly 100,000 US dollars. But could it be a similar trap where we are moving sideways for a little bit, maybe moving sideways here for a little bit, and then just go up into December or maybe Q1, Q2 of 2026, exactly like Raoul Paul is explaining right here, a correction of, and this is also interesting, from the top till the bottom, roughly 35%. That's exactly what the guy said, 35%. So that's pretty funny. It's pretty aligned with the market situation right now. But yeah, comparing this to previous corrections in this bull market, it's not that crazy. So here we had a 32% correction. What did we have here? Here we had a 34% correction, 33% correction. So, you know, it's not that crazy. How big was the correction right here? From the highs till the lows, that was okay. That was a little bit lower. It was 20%. But generally get a 30 plus percent correction, 30 plus percent correction, 30 plus percent correction is not that crazy. And if we do have an elongated business cycle, elongated bull market, this extended cycle where many people are talking about, then it actually could make sense for losing this support and then building something up and going into another rally with new momentum. Because losing this support and calling this the cycle top also has, of course, a lot of things to do with the 4-year cycle. So if the 4-year cycle theory would be correct, then it's very likely that we have seen the top in the Bitcoin bull market. Why? Because during this time, losing so big part of the momentum and a big part of the trend is just very bearish, and the chances of really correcting this into a new all-time high in a 4-year cycle structure is just very low. That's why most people who still believe in the 4-year cycle, and I think we actually should take that very seriously, who still believe in the 4-year cycle, say that we have topped. And I think it is a very good reasoning to say that most likely we have topped, especially when we look at the 4-year cycle. But we also shouldn't deny the fact that this bull market just looks different. A lot of data points looks different. It has been a different bull market than 2021, different than 2017, especially the hype has not been there. There has not been an altcoin season, which this is the first time that we are not seeing that. So those arguments are then very, very good to make for an extended cycle. But we also should be careful that an extended cycle is not going to be a coping mechanism for us to deal with the fact that we might have entered the bear market. What for me is very important is that for me personally, I think for sure that during 2026 or during 2027, we are going to see a very big inflow into crypto, and I think this adoption will grow. And I think so I'm not that scared if you have a long time horizon. I'm not scared about my bags, so to say. Definitely not. A lot of charts are looking good on the macro, so I can definitely hold to that, right? It's just in the short term time frame what is going to happen. Then guys, I want to bring your attention actually to the stablecoin dominance, because this is the chart that actually for me is the most scary. This is a US dollar Theta and USDC combined. And yeah guys, I actually find this a very scary chart, because if this one breaks the neckline, which we did, and we did got a weekly close above it, this looks like a legit breakout from a inverse head and shoulders. And the target of this chart is of course way higher than we are trading right now, and that is a bit scary. Let me put the target right here. So the target would be right here, would be the top of this falling wedge. So we have been actually looking at this falling wedge, maybe haven't taken too seriously, but eventually it did play out, right? And I feel that we really have to get rejected from these levels, and Bitcoin really has to start making a significant bounce in order to remain bullish, because this thing just going higher is just showing me that it wants to go reach the target. And this is a significant breakout. So this is one of the signs that I think is very dangerous with what we are seeing with crypto, because this chart has an inverse correlation with Bitcoin and crypto. So that means that everything that this chart does, the opposite will happen with Bitcoin. So when this chart breaks out to the upside and it looks bullish, that means the Bitcoin will go down. That's why I'm bringing up this chart sometimes. Another chart I want to bring your eyes to is the total free, and this one is also a bit scary, guys. It's not the most bullish looking chart, because we shared that also in the community the last days. We have this declining channel. We broke down from this declining channel, which in essence is already kind of a bearish sign, right? Breaking down. But then if we would then break back up into this channel, that would be again then pretty bullish, breaking back up into this channel, because then we just have a fake out. But right now we are just rolling over at the resistance. So it is important, we have to break below this low in order to really see this as a breakdown. So we have not really technically have a confirmed breakdown, because we need to break down, retest, come back to the lows and break below the lows. That's a confirmed breakdown, so to say. So we haven't seen that yet, but it kind of looks like that can happen. So we have to be a little bit careful. On the other hand, Bitcoin also really, and crypto really is in for a bounce, as we have been seeing such a big correction. Right, a really big bounce. We have a lot of liquidity above us with the liquidation heat maps, and we have seen a big correction of 35%. That has to have a counter move. So let's hope that is going to manifest right now, earlier this week, in the next coming days, because it's really important for Bitcoin, I think personally, to get some strength in the shorter term time frame. Another thing that is going to be important, guys, is how the data is going to look. So guys, when Bitcoin broke down right here from this channel and moved sideways, the data profile completely changed. So we had like this selling pressure coming in on Bitcoin. Bitcoin broke down right here, 2023. And then the data profile completely changed. We got buying pressure, we got very low selling pressure, and the price slowly grind back up. But you can already see that the data profile right here with bigger selling pressure and the data profile right here is completely different. So I want to see something, doesn't have to be exactly the similar, but something similar I want to see, that the data profile really changed and that we can really see that we got that reset in the sentiment, right? And that maybe Bitcoin can go quickly up to not give everyone the opportunity anymore to buy back in, like we did, for example, right here. Or we have a period where everyone is a little bit in limbo, everyone is doubting, is it happening, is it not happening? But we have to be a little bit careful with the narratives that are circling on social media, because the more a narrative is prevalent, the less likelier it is to happen, especially when it has not been played out yet. So we haven't seen the rally yet that Raoul Pal is talking about, right? And the narrative right now already starts to form. So that is a little bit a tricky side, what I personally think. However, it doesn't make it impossible, of course. But we just have to be aware of that fact, that we do not get, we hold to coping coping mechanisms of this guy talking about it. Because, of course, he can be definitely right. But, it doesn't mean that it has to happen. So right here we can also see a very nice, this is more recent data, this is of course 2025, low selling pressure, buying pressure coming in, the price goes up, and then the data profile right here is completely different. Now it's coming down and we can see already the data profile is changing. So the selling pressure is decreasing, no high intensity red anymore. We can see that the momentum indicator is really at oversold conditions. We haven't seen that since March 2025. So we are definitely... We could be setting up for something similar where we are really going into oversold conditions. Maybe right here, maybe form a low, get a small bounce, go down again, form this higher low, this divergence, and then really, into December 2025, going into Q1 2026, really get this good bounce. So yeah, guys, this is what I'm looking at right now. And of course, when that bounce comes, I expect altcoins to do pretty good. Maybe altcoins to do even better than Bitcoin. But when we have a look at the Bitcoin dominance, guys, it actually looks like Bitcoin dominance has a lot of space to come down right here. It doesn't mean that it has to drop down right here. Maybe it can still do something like this. But there's a lot of space to the downside. So I think altcoins are definitely still a little bit the way to go for me. Maybe in the short-term time frame when we are seeing a bounce, there will be a lot of attention going to Bitcoin. But generally, I think there's a lot of space for Bitcoin liquidity to move into alts. So yeah, guys, this is what I'm watching in the markets right now. Drop a thumbs up if you like this video. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. And if you are looking for a community where you can talk with other people, make sure to join the wealth transfer community with the link down below in the description. Also, for the ones that are interested in trading, Apex Omni still has the airdrop promo or campaign going on until the end of December. You can get points by trading on Apex Omni. Getting these points will result in an airdrop. And everyone sign up with the link in the description will get 10% extra points for the airdrop. So check that out if you're interested in that. Guys, I want to thank you all for watching and I wish every single one of you a beautiful day. Bye-bye.